Everything sounds good, so we're good. All right, well, welcome to Membership Monday. Today's March 15th. It's our 7 o'clock showing of Membership Monday for New Jersey PTA, where we convene with our local PTA leaders to find out what great things they're doing, for people to come on to share ideas and bring all the wonderful things that PTAs are doing across the state to one another. So I'm just do a little housekeeping at first. In January, our membership incentive was for all PTAs in New Jersey that were participating in the Reflections program. One PTA was chosen randomly and will receive a gift certificate for Shop PTA to purchase Reflections items for their school contest. In February, we had Feel the Love, and in March, the incentive is still going on for you to collect 30 members by the end of March. Well, it was February and March, for you to win, for your PTA to win one of two $75 prizes. So all you need is 30 new members in Member Hub by March 31st. And that one's still going on. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce Heather Cramer, who is a PTA president at Manchester Township PTA. Manchester PTA is a little bit unique because most PTAs in the state of New Jersey, I would say, are at individual locations, and they have, like one's an elementary school, one's a middle school or junior high or high school, but Manchester is a little bit different. So Heather's at first is going to tell us about how their organization is set up, and then go into what great things they have been doing in Manchester. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you. We're very excited to be here tonight and to talk about our PTA, because we are very proud of what we have and will be accomplishing this year. A little bit about the structure of our PTA is Manchester District has 6 schools, and we have one PTA. So there's one president, one treasurer, and one secretary that umbrellas all of the schools. And then each of the schools, there's 3 elementary, 1 middle school, 1 high school, and Regional Day School in Jackson is a special needs school. They all fall under our district. So each of those schools has a vice president. Some of them have 2. They partner up and they may have 2 co-VPs. And then under there, we have chairpersons for each of the schools. The elementary schools have the most robust team because they'll have a book fair, holiday shop, box tops, along with their vice presidents. So they have a nice hefty team when those positions are full. And then at the high school level, where we're not as active because we can't come in and we don't do all the cutesy stuff as often, there may be 1 or 2 people on that team, say scholarships and the vice president. So that is how we are unique. So we have a very large board. When we tell people we have about 36 people or 36 seats on our board, they go, wow, because they're thinking of their one little school, and we're like, no. And what's fantastic about the way we structured, and this has been in place, I'm thinking at least 25 years. I don't ever remember there being individual PTAs going back to when I was a student in Manchester. So if I may be wrong, but I know it's been the legacy to be the one PTA here in Manchester. One of the benefits of that is each of our areas where the schools are located and that the communities that feed into those schools, they have different social and eco dynamics. So when we do fundraising and we do events, we always do an inclusive thing, and we pool the money together. So one school may have done really well on a fundraiser just because they're the families can afford it, or it was something that really triggered well with that group of people, whereas another school may not have been as successful in their endeavors. When we pool the money together, we can then decide and evenly distribute it and offer all of the elementary students in our district the same experience. So it's not like, well, they always get more things than us, because we put it together and we work really hard at ensuring that what we do for each of the schools is fair and even. And it doesn't mean it's exact. It's never exact. One school may really need some type of program more than another, and another school may not want it. So we don't make them have it. But we also don't not offer it to the school that is requesting it. We just maybe look for something else that we could provide for the other schools that meets their needs. So I'm very proud of that. I think that's important in our district. I mean, when you have, especially the way our schools are structured, sometimes it's one street over. Kids go to one school, kids go to the other school, and the parents are kind of like at the same bus stop. So they know what's happening in the different schools. So it's been successful, I think, over the past years in Manchester. And if any districts ever want to think about that, they could always contact us, and we would be more than happy to talk further with them.
I would say it's actually very unique, but a great way to share your resources, and like you said, especially for funding, it really encompasses, sharing at its best. It's pretty amazing. I'm quite impressed, because I don't know of any other district in New Jersey that actually works like that as a PTA. I don't know if Rose or Kathy would know that information, if any other PTA is as all encompassing as Manchester is.
Yeah, we have recently in Eatontown. They have done that recently in the past 2 years. Not as many PTAs because they don't have as many schools, but they have one PTA for 4 schools.
Right.
That's one of them. And Barnegat also has it.
We found it's very helpful too, not only with funding, but also volunteers. So
Right.
whereas, one school, we have the 2 moms that come out, and then the other school, they're real, for whatever reason, gung-ho for a few years, because it's like the groups of parents that, when their kids are in the school. So it changes every year what school has the most volunteers.
Sure.
So we just pull them together as well. So this, Ridgeway mom is available on a Tuesday afternoon to go to Whiting School to help us out on something, when we are in person. So it's helped with our volunteer pool as well.
Right. So during COVID, I know that I think Greg had, not Greg, Jeffrey had sent me this nice write-up about what you've been doing at Manchester. So I don't know if you want to just pick a few of the highlights that you're most proud of, whether it be the Scholastic Book Fair. I love the Cocoa thing, and of course your Wisdom Wednesday. So just want to expand on any of those great activities and events that you're doing to share with people on the call tonight.
Sure. So one of the things, about Scholastic Book Fair. So in the fall, we did an online version of that. Everything was a little tighter in the schools, and everyone was a little nervous about having any type of in-person event in November, understandably. So we opted, as our book fair chairs discussed it, and they went, all schools went with a virtual book fair. And it seemed fine, and Scholastic was happy with our results. Any fundraising and any event that we did this year, it was about 10% of what our normal result would have been. So once we kind of figured that out, we could plan a little more accordingly for the future. However, what we did notice was when we did it online, there was probably a high group of students that were not able to participate, because in order to receive free shipping, they had to spend $25 on books. And for some people, that may not be a difficult task, but for some families where they would usually just send in $5 and the kid could pick a book off the shelf and be happy they participated and they were proud, they were excluded. So we really were looking for another way of handling the book fair for the spring. So in working with Scholastic and our book fair chairs, we've moved our book fair to the beginning of June, where the weather is a little more stable and warmer. All the principals are on board with us having it outdoors, like along the sidewalk, an outdoor fair. We're going to use just the cases. We're not going to do the pencils and the little tchotchke stuff or the books on the table. So everything is going to be able to fold up quickly and wheel it inside at night. Or if there is any, bad weather happens to come in, we can close it up quickly. And we're hoping to have a little more inclusiveness in doing it this way. What is also different for us this year is where we would usually have a book fair at the middle school. We've shut that one down, but we've included in the elementary levels content for grades K through 8. So the families that live out in Whiting, which we pick on a lot because Whiting is like out in the woods compared to the rest of us, right? So poor whiting, and they're used to it. So for example, the people that live in the woods and don't live in town, they won't have to come all the way, into the heart of Manchester to pick a book for their child if they're at the middle school. They could go to Whiting Elementary. So families stop, look at their books, one stop, one credit card charge. So to make things a little bit easier for our families, we decided to run it that way. So time will tell if it's successful, but in theory and on paper, and from what we learned from our fall fundraiser, I think we will have a happier outcome than in the fall. So we're excited to see how that pans out. Another thing that we did differently, my cat's coming to join me, I'm sorry. Another benefit of being home. The other thing that we did differently this year was our hot cocoa day. So traditionally, for about 5 to 6 years now, Manchester PTA has held a hot cocoa day where we've supplied a fresh cup of hot cocoa to all of the students in all of the schools, generally about the same day. 1 or 2 schools may choose a different day, but it's usually the last day before winter break. So we come in and we've worked with our food service company over the years to help make that. Some parents would make it at home and bring it in. It really would depend on the volunteers in place and what they were willing to do and what we could come up with. But that was something that we've done for a few years now, and the staff and students really enjoyed it. We knew that we weren't going to be able to do that this year. We weren't able to come on site. We were then thinking about maybe sending home packets of cocoa, but there was concerns that some parents may not even want that, something coming into the home from the school. This was, we were planning this in September, October, so we really didn't know what December was going to look like. So with no budget to do this as well, because usually it was a very inexpensive way of distributing cocoa, what we did was we reached out to our local McDonald's. It's family owned, the Chapman family, and I had sent a request to see if there was something they could do. And I was really just looking for like the discounted coupon. And they donated 3,300 cups of hot cocoa coupons to us. So then we had the task of and the logistics of getting the coupons to everybody and making sure that they're aware of it. So all of our VPs in each of the schools worked with their principals on the best way to handle that. And we distributed those. And then throughout the holiday break, we did receive some pictures. We requested pictures of students and any staff that did partake in the coupons to send pictures in, and we created a photo carousel, which is located on our website. So that was fun. We wanted to make sure the students were hearing the same kind of traditions and the same terms this year, even if it was a little different on how it was executed. But they had Hot Cocoa Day the year before. They still have a Hot Cocoa Day this year. We wanted some things to remain consistent.
It's a good idea. It was a great way of also highlighting the community partnership. PTAs many times are always looking for ways to connect with the community, and giving an opportunity to someone to actually engage their own business with the community and to benefit the students was a great idea. Showcase the community partnership. The other item was the Wisdom Wednesday.
Oh, yes. So Wisdom Wednesdays touch upon, it's a great segue into talking about our Facebook and social media platform that we're trying to enhance this year. And one of the reasons Wisdom Wednesdays is important is you can pre-schedule content to be posted, and we chose every Wednesday, once a week, and it keeps your Facebook active. So even if you don't have anything going on, which at times PTAs don't really have anything to share for sometimes months on end until like you really get into fundraising and then you get into that spring event or whatever you usually do, it's important to keep your Facebook page active so that it stays in the forefront of everyone. So Wisdom Wednesdays was designed as a fun way to stay active without having to actually post something once a week on our Facebook page. And 17 Magazine had posted, and I found it online, one of those like top 30 inspirational people like education quotes type of thing. And I thought they were really interesting. The one most recent that was posted was SpongeBob, and he had a educational comment about like learning is magical or something silly but cute. We've had Eleanor Roosevelt's quotes, Michelle Obama, Barack Obama. We've had just numerous ones. I'm just going off the top of my head. So every Wednesday we do have a new quote come up, and I just set a reminder in my calendar. And I think it's like April 10th or something. I need to go back in and upload some more of those posts so they will continue working for us and we don't have to remember to do it. So having like a scheduled post on your Facebook page is very helpful on staying current and keeping parents active and knowing that you're still there, even if you're not. And then the other thing too is I wanted to just, suggest to people is posting just on your page is fine, but that's very limiting because a lot of, I noticed, Facebook pages are private. We have two in our group. We have a private PTA page and a public one. So we usually post first on the public one and then I share it out. So as anyone familiar with Facebook knows that they have, you have community pages, right? Neighborhood pages where people are looking for their lost pets. So they're like, hey, there's a crazy car, who's this and that. And who's setting off those fireworks at 11 o'clock at night. So those pages, right? The community pages that we're all part of. We share on those pages. So whereas our PTA page has 300 subscribers, we share it to the local community out further. So there's like 1,000 to 3,000 people seeing what we're doing. So they don't have to necessarily be on the PTA page to get the information. And I think it's helpful for the community to know that the PTA is active in Manchester. And a couple of times I've had random, PMs from people like, hey, I have these masks. Do you think the school will want them? I'm making them, and I will give them a contact just because they saw that the PTA is doing something and they have something they want to give and a way to help. So I think it's slow. It's not like we don't have, thousands of people running to the PTA, but I think more people are interested in what we have going on and at least knowing what we have going on in Manchester this year.
That's half the battle, just getting the name out there and seeing the successes and sharing your success stories with the community is excellent. Does that any, what I'd like you to do is, Heather, like you did this morning, was to put your Facebook address and as well as your website in the chat so that anyone can go look at what you're doing. Does anyone have any questions for Heather? I know we have some Mel, Didia, and Angel Vaccarella. I know which schools those people are from. Did you have any questions? Oh, you do. Okay, you do. Okay. If they would like to share anything, anything.
Please, ladies, if you would like to share anything, please do.
Highlight any specific thing that you have done this past year so far. If you're planning on doing something that is going to stand out, that you think that you're really excited about. Angel, Morel.
Angel, maybe something about our gift auction coming up.
Oh, that's a challenge in these days.
Yes.
Okay, I guess so. Our gift auction committee has been meeting and we actually have came up with 3 different scenarios, and I'm going to be presenting them to the board meeting tomorrow, so I can't really go into too much detail because a motion hasn't been put forth and accepted yet, but we're hoping to be able to get the community involved and just seeing that we're still there and we're still trying to have fun and raise money for the students.
That's nice. Good. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge in these days. Does anyone from our membership committee have any questions for Manchester Township PTA? All right, if not, I'm going to like to introduce Kathy Lindenbaum, who's on our call, who's New Jersey PTA president, and she'll share a few words with us.
Hi, everyone. Yep. Well, thank you, Heather, again for coming on a second time and sharing all the great things that you guys are doing at Manchester PTA. It's a difficult time to be a leader And I'm glad, that you're out there for your families and doing what you're doing, because you're showing them that you're there for them. You're showing them that PTA is there for them and it's a help. It's always good to know that you have someone there that could guide you and give you information when needed, and just to have events and you feel like you belong to something. It's so nice to feel like you belong to something, the PTA family. So I just want to say again, thank you. Thank you for all you're doing, and thank you to the other leaders who are here for all you're doing.
Awesome. It's gonna also tell you a little bit about the Membership Monday that's going to take place in April. We've talked it over, and we're hoping to have a member hub training for the PTA store that you can set up. So many of the PTAs in New Jersey are using the Member Hub store as a portal for not only fundraising, may even be able to do a little bit of gift auction stuff. I don't know how exactly, but as far as it's actually like a store, so you can buy things and also buy memberships. So it's an online portal. But we're going to offer a tutorial on April 19th for anyone who wants to learn how to set it up for their own PTA in New Jersey. And Rob Chair will be leading that tutorial for next month's call. It'll take place again at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. If there aren't any other questions, I don't know who can plug convention. I don't know whether Rob would want to. Rob, would you like to plug our New Jersey PTA convention that's coming up in March? He's not. Did he walk away?
I can. Yep. It's May, actually. You confused me for a second.
You're on my saying now.
It's okay. It's usually in March. Our convention is going to be May 20th, 21st, and 22nd this year. It is going to be a virtual format. We're very excited for that. Registration is $50, but it's going to include many sessions of workshops, 2 sessions of workshops each day. All the workshops are going to be recorded. So usually, if we're in person, you can only go to 1 workshop at a time, but you'll now be able to attend all the workshops at a given time. We're going to have a virtual exhibit hall, and we have many great speakers. One big part of our convention this year is the bylaws committee is putting through a proposal for a revision to our local PTA bylaws. We're hoping to create generic bylaws where local PTAs will no longer need to get their bylaws approved every 3 years. What they will do instead is create standing rules, and standing rules are basically more detailed documents that include things specifically for each local PTA. So the membership will then be able to approve those documents instead, and then the bylaws will just stay the same, and then it will be generic throughout the state to make it a little easier for everyone. So, obviously for Manchester, it's the same thing as you go through, but for other people that go to, 3, 4 PTAs through their career, a lot of the rules are sometimes different because the bylaws are so different. So we're hoping to take some of that away. So registration is open, njpta.org. And I don't know, Kathy, if you wanted to say anything that we learned today, I didn't want to open that up.
Yes, thank you. Yep. Well, we found out today that the First Lady, Tammy Murphy, will be a speaker, and also
wonderful.
Senator Cory Booker will be a speaker.
That's wonderful.
So, yeah, it's exciting. I'm very
Yes.
excited about that.
That's great. That's great news. All right. If well, we have a little bit of time before May, but so Heather, encourage all your VPs really to attend New Jersey PTA convention. I don't know whether you have in the past, but it is virtually. It makes it easier. It's not as costly than going in person. So there's a fee, but there's a lot of great stuff. And what happens at conventions, New Jersey convention and also national PTA convention, is that you get reinvigorated, you meet other leaders, and you find out more information about PTA, its history, and just get really revved up for the upcoming year with new ideas. The more information you acquire, the better off you are. And a lot of people are doing great things out there. If you learn something new, it's worth it, which you definitely will. And you're inspired by the speakers and just the overall atmosphere of what we're trying to push forward. So encourage everybody to attend in May, come back for Membership Monday. Thank you for attending this morning and for tonight. Continue your great success stories. Want to hear more from you? I'm going to tune into your Facebook page. And my inspiration today is remember Mondays, that you are amazing. There's far more days of the week, but there's a lot more days of the year. Mondays are amazing and you can handle anything, as we can see. You've proven that. So thanks for coming on and have a great rest of the week. And we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night.